Thank you. Thank you, dear moderator, Your Excellencies, co-speakers, dignitaries, and members of the organizing committee, ASEAN International, and dear friends. The experience of persecution among Christians and non-Hindu minorities in India is against the background of the Hindu fundamentalist ideology called Hindutva. The word Hindutva means Hinduness. That is the essence or quality of being Hindu. So Hindutva is an ideology that seeks to define Indian culture in terms of Hindu values, heritage, and identity. Hinduism is a religion and a path, a spiritual path, whereas Hindutva is understood as a cultural, political, and national identity based on Hindu civilization. According to this ideology, India is not a nation, but a holy land, and to be truly Indian, one must regard India as fatherland, that is the land of one's ancestors, and the second, holy land, that is the land where one's religion originated. In this sense, arguably, this distinction excludes religions like Islam and Christianity, which originated outside India. There are two broad categories of religious persecution against Christians and other non-Hindu minorities. First is the legal persecution, and the second is the Hindu majoritarian atrocities. The legal persecution, use of laws, legal systems, or government authority to discriminate against, restrict, or punish people because of their religion or religious practices. The government uses the law itself as a tool to oppress Christians and non-Hindu religious minorities. The manifestation of legal persecution in India are anti-conversion bills, Citizenship Amendment Act, and Universal Civil Code, loss of scheduled caste status upon conversion, enforcement and misuse of laws and harassment, places of worship, demolition and restrictions of places, and criminalization of religious expression in certain contexts. I will not be able to explain further because of the constraint of time. And the second point, the Hindu majoritarian atrocities, forms of persecution from Hindu majoritarian atrocities against Christians and non-Hindu minority religious communities. One faces the violent type of physical violence, sexual assault, abduction, attacks on church gatherings, vandalisms, and so on. And then also the persecution takes the place of subtle and pressure-filled kind of reaction. Believers can face false accusation and forceful religious conversion, hate speech, social ostracizations from families and communities, and so on. So this is another type of, these are the two major types of persecutions that we can find. I would like to place on record, since Hinduism in general is practically understood in 12 to 13 states right now with anti-conversion bills. What I am now in this short time to place is the northeast part of India. The northeast part of India, there are more than 200 ethnic communities in 7 federal states, which is facing different racial connotation by the rest of India due to the presence of Mongolite features such as I am now, right now in front of you. The Northeast people do not fit into the predefined framework of an imagination of Indian face, like the features of Aryans or Dravidians and so on, and are treated as lesser Indians. Secondly, the Northeast people are mostly Christians, the tribal Christian communities. They are ethnic-ridden people embracing Christianity, and they speak, quite many of them speak a good English. So not very fluent or not conversant with the Hindi, so-called desirable national language. So there is a kind of racial discrimination as lesser Indians and Christians speaking English language, and that is how a little bit of a cold attitude, if not bitter or extremist attitude. So the Hindu extremist agenda is trying to de-Christianize the Northeast India. And from this RSS, the RSS, that is the political, sort of the religious fundamentalist group, applies 5 principles of man-making for nation building. That is one thing, that RSS advocates for cultural nationalism in stark contrast to civic nationalism. This distinction highlights their belief that cultural heritage and identity, particularly Hinduism, should form the cornerstone of Indian nationalism. The Northeast, how the policy, the RSS agenda is trying to de-Christianize Northeast is, you cannot stop directly not to become Christian. But now the propaganda is to make you feel, go back to your original traditional religion, called Gar Wapsi, homecoming, come back to original place. So even if you don't become Hindus directly, but you attach to your original religion, your indigenous faith, have affection to that. That is what they want, Gar Wapasi. If you do that, then you will become under the umbrella of Hinduism. That is Hindu Sanatana groups. That's what their propaganda is. Manipur, right now, my state and my archdiocese covers the entire state, had a crisis in 2023 in May, and you all know it was a conflict between the Meitei non-tribal Hindu majority group and the Christian tribal group minority group. It happened 2.5 years ago. What is happening is here now, the Meitei majority, they are following the Hinduism. They were converted to Ramandi Hinduism in 16th century, but they were Sanamahism, indigenous faith. So either come back to Hinduism, the Ramandi Hinduism, or follow your previous religion, Sanamahism. If you do that, then that is sufficient for us. But these Meitei Christians are forbidden to practice and exercise their faith. Their house churches, their worship places are suppressed very much, right? Even right now. I live in their midst, and then I accommodate them. They want to practice their faith, Christian faith, into my infrastructures, institutional halls, and so on. But I have a standing warning. If you facilitate them, we'll burn your institutions, and sort of, I've got intimating calls and emails. So that's the part of the Hindu, the Meitei Christians who have become Christians. So quite many of them ran away. Pastors have been followed by intelligentsia, and many of them could not. And we, other tribal groups, are supporting them, but then it is not always successful. That's the present scenario. The Christian Kuki Zo group, who have been subject to conflict, also they have gone now definite separation, at least mentally, socially. It is now politically they want to integrate both, but there is no way yet. The lasting solution, peace and reconciliation, has not taken place. So it is almost impossible for us to even work out together towards that peace. And we, Interfaith Forum, we are trying to bring out at our own level to reconcile the people and come back to their normalcy. And there are, afterwards we can clarify too. And I would like to place my record here to express my sentiments of gratitude to ASEAN Journalist Forum and also the Project Forum for the immense support. The voice that we would like to express is being expressed, and there are cases where we were tangibly helped to re-establish the internally displaced people and their livelihood and education and trauma of women and children, and all these are still at stake. And we don't have a popular government. The majority, the BJP is there, but then it has failed and is suppressed, and the president's rule is on. That's how we're looking forward, and our hope is in the light to come soon, and pray for our stability and the solution to lasting peace. Thank you.